Hi, this is Heather from Strings and Threads. Welcome and thank you so much for being here. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately, and it's been a really long time since I've done a dice bag pattern, and so people have been coming across my patterns on Etsy or just old videos, and I've gotten a lot of questions like, what is a dice bag? So a dice bag is some sort of pouch to hold. It can be dice, but it could really be anything. It doesn't have to be dice. The reason why I say dice is because it's kind of big in role-playing game communities. My husband plays Dungeons and Dragons, and he's played with the same group for over 30 years. And so they have their own collections of dice. When you play a role-playing game, you often have to roll different sided dice in order to know what happens next in the adventure. So those kind of games more are like a story that can go almost anywhere. It's not like a board game. And board games, you can hold if you have specific dice for different board games, you can do that too. But it's more specifically role-playing games that have a lot of different sided dice. So for example, I pulled a few of my dice out. This is an 8-sided die. And then this is a 12-sided die. And then I have a 20-sided. I have a bunch of them. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons, but I have gathered a lot of dice over the years, especially with the dice bags that I've been making. But in those games, people have to provide their own dice. There aren't dice that come with the game, so you have to have your own sets of dice. And a lot of people would like to have bags to hold their dice in that are kind of what they are into, you know, what they like. I don't necessarily love lions, but my dice bag is a sleeping lion. And I just really like the way this bag feels. I like the size of it. And if you look inside, I have rock, paper, scissors dice in there. I have 6-sided, 4-sided, you know, all that you can imagine. Let me see if I randomly pick one out. I think I randomly picked a 6-sided. This is a 20-sided. But that's why I use the term dice bag, because people in role-playing game communities, they immediately know what that is and are drawn to it. But honestly, you could put anything you want in a pouch like this. I do have the pattern for this available on Etsy if you were interested. My Etsy page is linked below. I have a special set of dice that I just kind of made a little pouch for, and this isn't anything fancy. It's just, I believe this is just a bunch of half double crochets, you know, increasing up a little bit, and then you do one row of double crochets, and then the paracord goes through the double crochets. But these dice, they're like colorful metal dice. This is the 6-sided dice. And then some of them, oh yeah, here we go. This is a deep purple 20-sided. I don't know how well that's showing up. I really can't tell because my hand's in the way. And the reason for all the different dice in the role playing have to do with different kinds of things that can happen during your adventure. There's usually in role-playing games one person who leads the story. They call them the DM, and then everybody else plays the story, and the DM will have to decide which path the story will take based on how people roll and how people react. So it looks like they're having a lot of fun when they've done that. I have gone to gaming conventions and I've done a few role-playing games, and they are a lot of fun. So I wanted to just show you some of the dice bags that, I didn't bring them all out, but just some of them that I have available. I have patterns available for on Etsy. I don't sell the actual finished product, but I have the patterns available for them. So these are some of my more popular ones. This is a bag of French fries dice bag. I don't have any dice in it right now at the moment. But there's plenty of space in there. And like I said, these definitely don't have to be when you close it up, it's like this. These don't have to be something just to put dice in. You know, if you had some kind of toys for kids that they might want to store in a bag like this, or if you wanted, I don't know, you can let your imagination run wild with these, whatever you would want to store in them. Probably the most popular one. So if you've been with me for a while, you've seen this one many times because I show it a lot, is the Dragon Head dice bag. Sorry, I wanted to get it out. So here's how he looks. This one is definitely the most popular one. By the way, if you ever make any of these patterns, I would love for you to send me a picture and I could post it on my community page if you were willing. I always really like to see how my pattern turns out when other people make it. And if you don't want it on my community page, you can still feel free to send it to me. I always list my email in the description below, and just say don't post it on your community page, but I would still really like to see it. I did a bonus dragon head bag as well. It's just, dragons have all kinds of different ways to make them. So this one has a lot of horns, and then the eyes are slightly different, and then it has its teeth, mouth and teeth. So this one is a little twist on the regular dragon dice bag. And then this one's another popular one. This one's my most recent. It's a turtle dice bag. And then he opens up at the top. Again, I keep saying dice bag, but it doesn't have to be. There's lots of space in there that you can put whatever you want. But here's how the turtle looks. Close them up. And then I just have one more that I'm going to show you. This one is Medusa's head. Another pretty popular one with snakes for hair. I know it looks, because it's a bag, you know, if I touch it, it can kind of go in like this. So I'm just trying to puff it out a little so you can see. Lots of room on the inside to store things. I have 2 books available on Amazon as well. They are nothing fancy. I self-published them, and so they don't look as wonderful. You know, don't judge a book by the cover. I'll say that here. Don't judge a book by the cover. But this one's called Eclectic Ethereal Dice Bags. And on the front it shows, I don't know if it shows every single one, but it shows quite a few of the ones. You can see that it has the French fry, there's a taco dice bag, you know, some of the ones I've shown, the Medusa head, there's a dragon skull. I should have got that one out because that's another popular one. I know the cover is nothing fancy, and I wish I could be a little bit better with that. But on the inside, I'm just going to do a quick flip through so you can see. There's nice big print, and there are lots of pictures in there. So I think the patterns on the inside are fine. It's just, it doesn't get a lot of looks because it's not pretty. And it's not like, the reason why I self-published is that I didn't want to have any kind of issues with losing rights to my patterns, because I sell them on Etsy, which they sell more on Etsy because there's no cover, and I sell them individually. So you get a nice big picture of what it is and people can see it. But on Amazon, you know, it's not, because I self-published, I don't have the publicity to go there or anything like that. So it doesn't get much traction there. But a lot of the other bags that you didn't see, like the dragon head bag, is in this book called Fantastic Fantasy Dice Bags. And again, it's not a fancy cover, so it doesn't get a lot of traction, but there are lots of pictures, and the patterns, you know, hopefully can be seen pretty well. Unfortunately, I took bad advice, and this one's in black and white. This was the very, very first book that I ever published. And the advice given was, don't do color, it's not worth it. Well, it's worth it to do it in color. I feel sorry that I didn't do this one in color, but the patterns are still clear and there are still a lot of pictures in these patterns. So again, better on the inside than on the outside. You live and learn. I'm going to try and publish the Band Buddy book after the patterns have been tested. And so I'm hoping, from what I've learned and from advice that I've gotten along the way, that I can make a much better cover for this one. The covers were really, really hard for me to do because I'm not a book publisher. So advantages and disadvantages of self-publishing, but I get all the rights to that. So I can take any pattern that I put in that book and individually sell it on Etsy. And if you found one pattern that you liked, it might not be worth buying the book. You can just go to Etsy and buy the one. But again, if you make one of these, I would really love to see how it turned out. And if you're willing, I would love to put it on my community page to show people that, you know, how this can turn out for them. So thank you for watching. If you wanted to try the crochet bags, they don't have to be for dice, but I just wanted to do an explanation of what a dice bag was, why I call it a dice bag, and that you don't have to use it as a dice bag. So have a great night, and thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.